Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a teenage couple has spent several hours stuck on the roof of their vehicle after driving through deep floodwaters at Longford despite road closure signs. Bewildered life-saving crews and the Westpac rescue helicopter worked together to get the pair to safety.
Stranded on their Nissan four-wheel drive, submerged by floodwater.
He's going.
Hey, how you going?
Two teens trapped for 3 hours, needing to be rescued from Woolmers Lane at Longford.
They were cold and shaken and probably learned a good lesson.
The water was about a metre and a half. The water had entered the cabin area and had caused their vehicle to stall in the water.
Swift water rescue crews from Ulverston, Devonport and Port Sorell arriving just after midnight, forced to don PPE and navigate nearly a kilometre through murky water.
Given the flood waters have been there for a while, that's now likely to be a hazmat event with chemicals, potentially deceased animals and other toxins in the water.
The helicopter was deployed, but they couldn't access the car because of power lines, so it was quite a distance to travel in the IRB.
The 17-year-old male driver and his 15-year-old female passenger driving past multiple road closed signs to end up here.
It is recklessly irresponsible. It endangers not only their own lives but those of the people who've come to help them.
It's really frustrating. Tasmania Police don't shut roads for no reason. It's beyond belief why someone would try to drive through.
Paramedics assessed the pair at the scene, but no injuries were reported.
We're looking at possibly charging the driver with failing to obey the road signs. We're just getting to the point where we need to set an example.
Prompting motorists to heed the message and abide by the road rules. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
And the SES is calling on all Tasmanians to prepare for more wild weather across the whole state to hit tomorrow. A severe weather warning has been issued for strong and damaging northwesterly winds with forecast gusts of 90 to 100 kilometres an hour. Severe thunderstorms are also possible in the south. Labor has criticised a blowout in the time taken to lease social housing out to Tasmanians. The Department of Communities' annual report showed it was taking 28.5 days to fill an empty house, up from 20 days 2 years ago.
When next door to us we have families sleeping in tents, the least the government can do is get the basics right and make sure turnaround times are done in proper, timely fashion.
As I understand it, last month around 273 families housed through our social and affordable housing scheme. There are over 1,400 homes under construction right now.
The national benchmark for turnaround time is set at 28 days. The owners of a popular Hobart cafe and pharmacy have woken to a mess in their building after a person broke into the site in the early hours of this morning. Boomy Coffee shared these images of the damage online, with police now investigating the incident. Thankfully, no items are believed to have been stolen, but anyone with information is being urged to come forward. The Tasmanian tyre recycling industry is a step closer to being established with the launch of a grant program. Cash has been offered to help build a facility, with none in the state yet.
The roads of the future could contain crumbs of the past. $3 million made available by the state government to create a tyre crumbing plant.
Tasmania at the moment produces about 1 million motor vehicle tyres each year. Most of them get shredded and sent interstate.
There are currently no tyre reprocessing facilities in the state. It's hoped this will fire up industry here, with more and more recycled rubbery roads being laid.
But also to provide crumbed rubber potentially for a range of other uses. And it's used in various industries to produce soft fall matting. It's used as a fuel in some areas.
Set to help round up loose tyres and find a use for them.
So many tyres dumped in bushland that we have to either remove ourselves, but then we need a use and a purpose for those.
And eliminate problematic tyre stockpiles in the north of the state.
Those legacy stockpiles are a real nightmare. They will have to be removed with funding from the Tasmanian government eventually, because they're not worth anything.
The Australian Tyre Recyclers Association says this seed funding is crucial.
So recycling a tyre is a very difficult process, and it's costly, and it really doesn't have a great economic outcome, so it has to be subsidised all the way through.
Putting rubber to the road on our circular economy. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government is set to spend more than $1 million enhancing Devonport's key entry points. As a gateway to the state, a $1.25 million grant has been given to the Devonport Council as part of the Northwest City Gateway Update program. It includes plants, artistic elements, signs and lighting. Improvements to Hobart and Launceston's gateways are also underway. The equine industry continues to call on the government to find a swift solution following TT Line's controversial decision on Friday to immediately ban livestock on the Spirit of Tasmania after receiving legal advice.
We're in touch with TT Line and the businesses that are affected. There's 3 ministers at the moment working together to try and come up with a solution as soon as possible, and we'll keep doing that because we realise the impact of this decision.
TT Line customers are hopeful a solution will be brought to the table within the next few days. Repair work on the Northwest's Cam River Bridge is ongoing, with the first concrete pour conducted this afternoon. Workers are continuing to monitor the site and remove debris to maintain safety. It's hoped it will reopen to 2 lanes this week. Tasmanian breast cancer survivors have taken their storage of courage to the water for the annual Dragon Boat Regatta. The brave women were joined by hundreds of community members in raising awareness and crucial funds for the disease.
Paddling with persistence and making a splash for a good cause. With the skies finally opening up in Lindisfarne, teams came out in support of the Dragons Abreast Regatta. Backing the ethos of the community group, who are giving breast cancer survivors a place to talk.
We're a group that, if you want to talk to somebody about, health problems that you may have, you can talk to them because they're going through a similar thing.
Each stroke helping contribute to a wider conversation while raising much needed funds for the organisation.
Some of the money we donate to different causes, so we sort of spread it across the way. Also to help with the maintenance of keeping the boats on the water and everything goes along with it.
But of course a little healthy competition was also on display. The sport requiring participants to have a unique focus on rhythm.
Most important thing with dragon boating is to keep in time. Strokes actually set the pace, the 2 people up the front.
When there's other teams, sort of paddling next to you, the adrenaline pumps, and so off you go, and try and do the best you can.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The finest alpaca fleeces were on display today as judging continued for the Royal Hobart Show. Judges cast their eyes over 57 alpacas, evaluating their form, fitness and fleece.
The characteristics that they're looking in the fleece is first and foremost the style, the character, the density and the fineness of that fleece.
Goats and sheep were also judged this weekend as part of the show's festivities. And poochers dressed in their spookiest attire have wagged their tails into Hanging Garden for a dedicated Halloween Dogs Day. The Hellhounds festivities saw a number of canine lovers turn out to parade their pets as part of a new Creatures in the Garden instalment.
Judging the costume parade has probably been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. My heart and my eyes are crying. It is just the most beautiful thing, the effort. We've had dogs with painted toenails.
A number of organisations were involved in the day, encouraging locals to adopt, not shopped, their next furry friend. West Coast locals have been treated to a drive-in cinema with a spectacular view. As part of the Unconformity Festival's UNTV project, a mix of movies and short films have been shown on the Queenstown Aerodrome runway. The last session is tonight. It's the second version of UNTV. In 2020, there was a pop-up online TV station. It wasn't to be for the Jack Jumpers on the road, coming off second best in the Clash of the Islands. Tasmania's usual stars were unable to match a dominant second half from New Zealand, who came out firing.
Riding a club record high of 103 points, Milton Doyle was first to set the tone across the ditch.
As Doyle knocks that down.
But the Breakers weren't at home to mess around, keen to blow out the margin.
Just the separation with that arm.
Tasmania's fighting spirit there when they needed it, putting the pressure on, but New Zealand were proving hard to stop, coming up with the answers behind the arc.
And that was what he is brought in to do.
Milton Doyle was again the man they needed, taking the chance to tie scores early on.
Doyle knocks down a 3 and ties it at 15.
The second term seeing recently returned Sam McDaniel have his moment.
McDaniel.
Oh, look at Barton getting tossed up there.
While the Breakers maintained the lead, one Jack Jumpers import kept proving he could handle the heat.
Doyle off the glass and in.
Showman Barry Brown proving a pain for Tasmania, delivering a solid display to end the first half.
Bang! Knocks it down.
Doyle continued to make it work for the away side, showing off his confidence to deliver.
Knocks it down with 5 on the shot clock.
The Breakers weren't willing to let up, dominating the contest to avoid an upset.
Oh, Gerard Branley knocking down a 3.
No stopping their run, the Triples kept coming in the final quarter.
There's another one raining down, and it's raining 3s. It's smart.
Breaking the winning streak for the boys in green.
A beat down on Tasmania.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The Tigers are fighting back on day 2 of their Shield clash against Victoria. Debutant Ashley Chandrasinghe has been branded Australia's next batting prodigy. He brought up his century with a classy drive.
Straight down the ground, a flawless shot, a debut to savour.
He was not out for 119 as the Vicks declared at 7 for 351. The Tigers made a steady start with the bat this afternoon to reach 2 for 187 and are in with a chance for first innings points.
Good evening. 19 was the state's top in Launceston today. Hobart 17, 16 in Burnie, Devonport 15, 17 about Strawn, Grove and Bushy Park, St Helens 15 and 13 in Lyowini. On the close-up shows areas of low-level cloud about the west and south of the state, mostly clear skies elsewhere. Further out, mid to upper level cloud lies over central Northern Territory and most of inland Queensland. Tomorrow the low rapidly deepens in the morning and moves to the west coast of Tasmania during the day. North to northeasterly winds tomorrow, 30 to 40 knots, swells up to 4 metres in the west and south and up to 2 metres in the north. A severe weather warning for damaging northwesterly winds is current across the state, with peak gusts reaching 90 to 100 kilometres tomorrow. A gale warning for most areas across the state and a strong wind warning for the Central Plateau Lakes, Banks Strait, Franklin Sound and Flinders Island. A flood warning is current for the Macquarie, Meander, North Esk, River Derwent, South Esk and Cull Rivers, a flood watch for the South East catchments and a warning to sheep graziers for the North West Coast forecast district. Tomorrow's forecast: now Hobart, windy with a shower or 2, 21 across Dover and Ouse. In the north, Launceston and Devonport, 17 showers in Scottsdale. Burnie and Stanley tomorrow, windy with showers easing, 18 in Strawn. Showers easing in St Helens, 20 in Swansea and very windy with showers in Ross. The UV forecast is high 7s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now. Tuesday, showers more frequent about the west. Wednesday, showers about the west with west to southwesterly winds. And Thursday, showers more frequent about the west. Capital cities 20 and partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. Showers in Adelaide and 32 in Cairns. And currently Hobart 14 and mostly cloudy, Launceston 14 and Devonport 12 and mostly cloudy. And Lou, there have just been some warnings issued.
Yes, that's right, Jackie. There is a flood watch and act for the Macquarie River impacting areas around Longford and Cressy. And there's also flood advice for the Lake River south of the Cressy township. And that's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have a safe evening. Good night.